Hi everyone, so last time we looked at finding the upper and lower bounds of a number, okay, and this lesson we're going to look at applying and using those upper and lower bounds to solve a problem or to answer a question. So this is the example that I've put on, okay, so it says Anthony measured the length and width of a rectangle. He measured the length to be 18 centimetres, correct to the nearest centimetre. He measured the width to be 10 centimetres, correct to the nearest 10 centimetres. Calculate the lower bound of the area of this rectangle. So what I would do first of all is I would draw myself a little diagram. I've got a rectangle. I know that it's 18 centimetres by 10 centimetres, okay? And I would start off by finding the upper and lower bounds of the two sides, so the length and the width, okay? So the length. So we need to think back to last lesson where we were actually finding the upper and lower bounds and we were putting it into that inequality. So the length, we know it's been rounded to 18. So the smallest this length could be would be 17.5, okay, and we know that it includes that. Okay, the longest this length could be would be 18.4999999, but remember, because we're writing it in equality, we don't include it. We're allowed to write it as 18.5. Okay, the width, okay, so it's going to be 9.5, and then it'll be 10.5. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we know that these are our lower bounds. Okay, we want to know the lower bound for the area. Now it does get a little bit more complicated when we start dividing, but we're just looking at multiplying today. So if you wanted to find the lower bound for the area, it's basically the smallest area you can possibly find. Okay, I'm going to whiz through them with you and show you that it does give you the smallest area. Okay, so if you've got we need to do the length times the width, don't we, for area. So if I chose the two smaller bounds, okay, so we're going to do area equals lower bound times lower bound. So we're going to do 17.5 times 9.5. So 17.5 times 9.5, which gives me 166.25 centimetres squared. So that's the area when I've done lower times lower. Okay, let's try it now where I'm doing the length as the lower and the width as the upper. So I'm going to do 17.5 times 10.5. 17.5 times 10.5 gives me 183.75 centimetres squared. Okay, we've got another one we can do. We can do upper bound for the length times the lower bound for the width. So I'm going to do 18.5 times 9.5 times 9.5. And that gives me 175.75 centimetres squared. And the last one, so there are always four options, okay, it would be the upper bound times the upper bound, okay, so it would be 18.5 times 10.5. So 18.5 times 10.5 gives me 194.25 centimetres squared. Now, anytime you're doing a question like this, you can go through all the different options that there are, and there's no harm in doing that to make sure and check that you have got the answer that you need. Okay, in this question we wanted to find the lower bound of the area, so it's the smallest area there could possibly be. Okay, so what I would know is that it was this one here, so this is my answer. I don't have to do anything else, okay, apart from state that that one would be the lower bound for the area. Have a go at the questions and see how you get on.